All right, you've seen the product. Now it's time to take action. It's all about that miracle food. My man Chakra Doctor has put some of the greatest superfoods on the planet here in one bottle for you. I know we see COVID going crazy and a lot of different things, testing our immune system. This right here is a perfect cleanse and reboot. Great for the immune system and a great anti-inflammatory. Miracle food. Tell them Viral Hip Hop News sent you. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
I see you got the shirt on. Yusef, Kevin, Antron, Corey, and of course Raymond, Exonerated 5. Did you know that's how did you perceive that story? Obviously, you probably lived it, watched it as it happened firsthand. So, how was your experience with that whole thing from watching it now to then and now?
My grandmother, on my father's side, lived in the building, same building. I think I'm not sure if it was Raymond, as one of the Exonerated 5, and that's when it was we first heard about it back then. Of course, she's panicking. Oh, that could have been you, and da, da, da. And you got to be careful out there. And of course, the media gave us the one spin, but once you learn, and after seeing that movie, man, it just blew my mind, at the justice system, because I wasn't really as, adapt to understanding what the justice system was back then as I am now, and what those brothers went through. And I've been able to connect with Brother Raymond, man, and he's super cool, man. And I just really look at them like superheroes, because I'm like, the I won't say the best parts, but some of the key parts of their lives is just gone, taken, and you can't get that back. And I think and Corey, he really seeing what just his mental space, man. Just I just don't know if I could have done it. You know what I mean? The strength that he had. It blew me away, man. It really did. It took me back to that time, because I remember that time running around and having fun and with your friends and going to different neighborhoods, and that easily could have been me or anybody else, because we would do that. We would just go hang out in groups, and all it takes is for somebody to say, "Yo, they did something," and you can't fight it. And you're a kid in there, then you have a parent in there, and they don't know the law, and to just be just railroaded and just thrown into that situation, man. It's shame on I think it was the prosecutor, and all of them, man. It's the lead detective. Just shame on them, man. Just shame on them.
Absolutely.
Right now, you have humble beginnings, like we said earlier. You started like as a dancer. Now, at what point were you a child, or was you a teenager when you started getting into dancing around?
Teenager. I was 13, 14. That's when I really got, the hip hop, Cool Herc really put everything on the map. And we started to hear the records. And like I said, Jimmy Spicer, Super Rhymes, and then Sugar Hill Gang, and then hearing the Treacherous Three and Shy Rock, and all of those legends out in the park, and just going out there and just boom, boom, we battling and seeing these legends up close. I jumped into that scene at that time, and that was, just a great time. That took me around the world. That took me around the world. I paused for a minute because I went away to school. I wanted to play basketball. Got a scholarship, went away. It didn't work out because I just got away and started. I'd never been away from home. You're out there, chasing them ladies and not being focused. And so when I came back home, I just fell right back in, and the hip hop game had evolved, and the dancing had evolved, and dancers were being more noticed, and you started being able to do more. And a good friend of mine named Buddha Stretch kind of took me under his wing. It was like, yo, let's roll. We're gonna hit these clubs, and I just started getting noticed in videos, and leading up to Salt and Pepper, and then that was just historic for me. But even prior to all that, when I was in Brooklyn, I spent a spell of time out there trying to hustle, and I saw my friends getting paid, coming with the fat nugget rings and the ring and the gold fronts, and I was like, "Yo, what you doing, man?" So, we going upstate, we going to Rochester, we making this money, and I'm like, "All right, I'm down." So I took my stab at it, and I just didn't have a heart for it, man. I just saw what it was doing to people. When you see people coming to get crack, and you see, it's your mother, it's your sister, it's your uncle. Is I never forget this one dude came, and this dude had his little daughter with him and was like, yo, man, knocked on the door talking about, yo, man, I'll leave my little girl here. Just, you know what I mean? Let's just, give me credit and I'll come back, I promise. And we opened the door and we whipped his ass. It was like, yo, man, you're going to bring a child here. And that was the spark that, like, was like, okay, I'm definitely not, I don't have a heart for this. And then I decided to jump out, and I went to the cat I was working for, and surprisingly, I told him, I said, yo, I'm going to go back to school, get my stuff together. And he was just like, hey, that's all good. Just remember, I know where you live. So basically, keep your mouth shut. And I did so. And when I left, the brother who took my place, the following week went up to take my place. They robbed that drug house, and he got killed.
Okay.
So that was, for me, a sign like, okay, I moved at the right time. And then I just went into dancing and entertainment full time after that.
That's deep. You said that you went on tour with initially with Salt and Pepper. Now, is it true that Spinderella found you?
Spinderella was the one. She didn't discover me. She's the one who called me. Like, I was already a known dancer. She got my number and called me at my grandmother's house when I was staying with my grandmother in the Bronx. And I was back when you had the old red rotary phone with the big joint, with the cord that went from the living room to the bedroom. So she called me and was like, yo, we about to do Arsenio and they were doing a bunch of shows and going to Cali, and we needed, are you down? We trying to match everybody height wise, and you fit with Pep. And I was like, let me check my calendar. I got nothing. I said, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
So I went, and that it changed my life, man. So I always, I think I hit her up on Instagram probably around the time that the Salt and Pepper movie was coming out, and I just told her how much I appreciated her, because she called me. I said, in that call, it changed the course of my life.
What do you think about the treatment that she's going through right now with between her, Salt and Pepper, and
it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't want to get too deep into it, but it hurts me because I was there and I know them, and I know they all love each other. I know they do. Dee Dee Spin, she's growing up. She I think she might have been looked at as a youngin', and just do what we have you do. But I know that they Cheryl and Sandy, they got good hearts, and Dee Dee as well has good hearts. I just think it's a place of business and growing and saying, hey man, I want to be recognized, and it would have been nice to really see her story as well added to the picture. But I love all three of them, and they all changed my life, and they all blessed me, and so but overall, she deserved to her story to be heard, and she deserves to be a part of that legacy, in my opinion. And that's not take away, from what they've done. I understand it's Salt and Pepper, but every dude, you had mad dudes that love Spinderella.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving forward,
Man, this is Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all who are going to check out this documentary. Shout out to my man Lonnie Fresh. Do me a favor, go to YouTube right now, go subscribe to Viral Hip Hop News, one of the best hip hop platforms out here right now. We also have The Hub, Hip Hop News Uncensored, of course, the podcast, the baddest podcast out, the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. We drop 7 days a week, doing this thing 100% independent.
There was not one day that I was at work on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that I wished I was somewhere else.
Now let's talk about the Players Club, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's like your first major role in a movie, right?
Taking over the game. Sincerely appreciate each and every one of y'all. You can grab merch on the YouTube site. You can talk to me on there and much more. Sam Ant, CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. Appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Oh God, you the man, Cass. I spit white like a clan mask, and I'm a hustler.